New York Governor Kathy Hochul is calling in backup to combat transit crime right here in New York City. She's deploying 750 National Guard members and 250 state and MTA cops to help the NYPD patrol train stations and assist with checking bags following a series of violent incidents. This happening while several teens were injured in a mass shooting near a Philadelphia bus stop. This happened just this week. Joining us now is retired NYPD Chief Wilbur Chapman and former Detroit Chief of Police Ralph Godbee to discuss. Gentlemen, good morning. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Welcome.
Good morning, Hannah. How are you?
I'm great. Happier now that we're discussing it. Wilbur, I'm going to start with you. New York City subway system, you know, it's one of the busiest transit hubs in the country. However, year to date, you see in that graph, transit crimes have gone up 13%. But do you think deploying the National Guard in our subway system is necessary?
Well, this is the second time the National Guard's been deployed. Right after 9/11, it was certainly a great aid to the NYPD and to the people of the city of New York by inspecting bags and looking for explosive devices. However, this time it's a bit different. The people who are committing crimes on the subways are not carrying explosive devices. They're using knives and guns, particularly knives. And bag searches will not necessarily serve the purpose because you'll have individuals who can easily secrete guns or knives in their jacket or pants pockets and not be subject to the searches. The visible presence is helpful, but really the work that needs to be done and continues to be done is by the members of the Transit Bureau of the NYPD who have the expertise and the experience and understand how the 472 subway stations that exist operate, their physical layout, and really taking advantage of the fact that they do this every day. They are the ones who will be responsible and certainly have the expertise to combat this increase in crime.
Yeah, we're looking at video of some of these incidents, and they're so hard to watch. Ralph, do you think the idea of a National Guard in a city as big as New York City make people feel safer, or are they more worried about that crime when they see the presence?
Well, I think it's more of a feeling, and Chief will tell you that the perception of crime sometimes can be more daunting than the reality. And the reality is we have so many different mediums now. Everybody, and Hannah, I know this has to be unnerving to professional journalists, but everybody that has an Instagram account, a TikTok account, a Facebook account, everybody is a journalist now. And things that Chief and I used to see back in the day, daily as practitioners, people are now exposed to every day. New York City is still one of the safest, the safest large cities, United States of America. And even with the uptick, it is still not a subway system that people should necessarily be afraid of, but just the exposure to so much news and crime news and video now, the perception of crime and its reality, they're two different things right now.
I think you make an excellent point that we're seeing this more and more because of social media. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Wilbur, as we mentioned, crime is an issue nationwide. In 2020, governors across the country faced criticism for bringing in the National Guard to protect cities. Of course, that was following George Floyd protests. How is this different?
Well, in terms of doing protests, again, local police, whether it's the New York City Police Department or any other major city police department, have people within their ranks who are well-trained to handle any kind of disorder or demonstration and are better prepared. The National Guard and the state police are both excellent organizations, but they're a bit miscast in these kinds of roles because they do not have the understanding of the conditions on the streets that happen on a daily basis that give the local police an expertise and an advantage in dealing with the public or the active demonstrators who are involved in this activity.
Ralph, I mentioned that shooting at the Philly bus station. I have less than a minute, but what needs to be done nationally here?
Well, nationally, we really need to have a lot of intentionality around police hiring and then utilizing some of the tools that we have available to us in a more deliberate way. But the reality is, unfortunately, there are certain things that, absent some major social change and gun reform legislation, we're just not going to be able to do anything but respond to.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.